That's crazy. Before? Crazy. Crazy. Just feels like it comes alive. Hey, this is Tokyo from Walk Off the Earth. Just wanted to do a quick walkthrough of my new plugin, RoundTrip. I invented RoundTrip in order to solve a problem that I had, which was that I always send all of my takes, my recordings, through a specific set of tools in order for me to get the sound that I'm looking for in the box. And in order to get that, I've been using a series of different things. And what I wanted to do is really have one go-to plugin that kind of just does that all for me in the box, so that it just has this cohesive, unifying sound throughout the whole record. So I invented this plugin in collaboration with AudioLoom, who really helped me along with the DSP side of things. So here's an example of how I'd use it. So here's a cover. The song's called Killeagh, and here's the vocal takes. And ahead of the comp, I'm actually going to take all these pieces, and under the presets here, I have my go-to here, which is the fingerprint, my default. I spent like months, nearly half a year, trying to get each of these modules as close as I could to the original pieces that they're emulating. And I picked my favorites as well as common favorites. So the V76, the N73 for preamps, the American A2520, which is the large format, very punchy console, very forward console. And then there's the solid British 4KE console module, not the summing bus. Shine is the third-party gear that you would have on a sidecar or a rack beside you that you would be usually using, like, oh, I like to use this piece or that piece. This is kind of emulating a bunch of those things. So it's got like the A-type high-frequency compressor that's very popular. It's got a couple other things that's going to add some low-end weight and stuff like that. In one switch, I should say, there's a whole series of stuff. And this multiplier here down here, the screw, isn't just a pure linear 1 to 10. It's actually changing the amounts and percentages of those internal modules the more you turn it up or down. The summing bus, this is 3 different summing modules. So this is actually the summing matrix in the console. So if you have this at 4K and this at 4K, then you have the actual console as best as I could emulate it. And then we got the RC6B, which is, you know, the very, very old 50s radio broadcast console. The N8048, which is an 80s style series summing bus, which will pair very nicely with the 73 preamp. And then at the very end of the chain here, last but not least, we have the tape module. Now these are 2 of the most common, most popular tape machines, the Studio A800 and the Amped ATR102, to make sure I'm not getting license infringed there. These are exacting models of the saturation and the non-linearities of these 2 models. I also added some crosstalk so that there's kind of some crossbleed between the 2 channels, which is optional, and some wow and flutter on a single knob. At 50%, it's still pretty subtle. At 60, 75, it's getting crazy. And then the last 10% of the way, it just gets ridiculous. 5-10% is pretty reasonable to just add the tiniest amount of variance from a very well-calibrated machine. 50% is still not going to do that much. Some people may not even notice it. And then when you get up here, it's starting to get crazy. So let's just go back to my premix commit preset, which means I'm committing this effect to these individual takes. It takes a bold man, but that's what I'm about. This has been added on this new version 1.0, which is a preamp auto leveler. So this is another tool that I used to use in order to level the recordings of my vocals before I comped them. The reason I wanted to do this is so that I don't get biased from the louder vocals being better. Some recordings I'd like to have the dynamics be preserved so that I can send them to effects and things pre-compression. But in the case of me editing stuff, even when I do a bit of leveling, it still turns out to be beneficial for me to comp without having that volume bias. So of course you can put the compressor here and have it compress while I'm comping, but I actually want to make my editing easier. So what I'll have is, I've been doing this for a long time, and it also has the secondary advantage of keeping the loudest takes from saturating too much on the way in. So just turning this on right here will have an internal kind of vocal writer style. It's not compression, it really is gain adjustment in real time. So first off, let's just take this one take here. So if I just hit commit just for the case of it, you'll see that now that take is just a little bit more even. So this loud section right here just got tucked in, just so slightly. And the stuff before it is now the same volume. Now this might not be desired for some people, but for those who have comped vocals for a long time and who know that they're going to be compressing the turds out of this vocal later anyway, this is actually an amazing tool. They are going to love this feature so much. Now, with all of these different takes here, premix commit, turn this on. So I'm going to hit all this, And in this case, what I'm going to do is clip by clip, individual files, whole file. You can do 2 seconds if you've not done any editing, but let's say you have a comp already finished. As an example, let's say this is your comp. This is not my comp. You get the idea. So pretend that this was your comp here. You have your crossfades done, all that kind of thing is done, and you said, oh, you know what? I actually want to do the round trip effect, but you've already finished the comp. All you got to do, select that comp, go back over here, and then under clip by clip and individual files, if you have it set to whole file, it'll do the entire file all over again every time. It'll take forever. There's no need. Just two seconds is fine. Render it. There's also a pre-output limiter. So this little knob at the right here does a fantastic little job of limiting on the way out. Here's all the takes before and after. Before, after. Almost the same volume, just a little bit of saturation, and you can see there's no actual compression going on, but you do see that the quietest parts are coming up a tiny bit, and the louder elements are changing slightly. You can see that it shifts quite dramatically. So this is before. Never pure all I have. Now after. Never pure all I... Again, before. Never pure all I have. After. Never pure all I have. So you can hear the brightness come to the front. There's a bit more pronunciation there going on. There's just a lot of extra added juice. Before. The fun thing in the darkest of hours. After. Fun thing in the darkest of hours. Just adding a little bit of pizzazz. Now, this adds up a lot over an entire session. So this is what you do to every track. It just starts filling up completely. So I'm going to show you an example of that in a second. Let's just quickly go and show you what the dynamics change does. I'm going to turn on the auto leveler and then recommit these. Okay, so there's obviously a large dynamic difference now. So you can see before and after there's a drastic change now, and that's because of that auto level writing. So you can kind of see everything's been floating around the same level now. It just kind of keeps it even, and it keeps the takes in the sweet spot of round trip. So all the different modules are expecting a range of volume. This kind of hits it right at that delicious spot every time. I know it's compressing the dynamic range, but it's not actually acting like a fast attack release limiter or anything like that. So before, after. Before, after. It might be dramatic to some, but it is more or less what Dyne Assist right here, Dyne Assist would be doing as well. Sorry, so you can audition all of your takes in a similar volume. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Without having to be a little bit biased by some volume changes. So anyways, this is how I do it for a vocal. Now let's just do drums real quick. This is a new song that we're going to release soon called Superhero. For copyright reasons, I will not have the vocals playing. Ugh. My gosh. We haven't even gone into depth as to what the limiter can do. That thing is a beast just on its own. Just this one knob, just one, everything else off. Just a quick reminder that this one limiter button can do a lot. Just turning this one thing. Can dramatically change your song. The Neve. Ugh. Tape machine. That's crazy. Before. Just play with that at your own risk, obviously. Here's the percussion bus. So now, turn the preamp on. So this just adds a bit of lift, a bit of juice. More tape. Oh, now it's getting dirty. So yeah, you can push it hard. It's just something garbage now. Muddy garbage. But you get the idea. You can go pretty far with it. Oh, bass. Some slap slap. Now this is where thick comes in. Fat bass. Oof. Oh my goodness, it adds an extra octave. Yeah, I'm not trying to fool you. I could just do this and be like, oh my gosh, it's so much better. That's just louder. That's objectively better. So now it's been clipped. Gain match. Oh, too much. Now again, I'm only showing you this as an example. I would have already committed my guitars through RoundTrip. I'm only putting them on here to show you what it would do in the case that you were rendering it through. Okay, now we're clipping too hard. Before, crazy. Again, this is extreme. I'm doing extreme settings for the purposes of the example. Bass, drums. Flutes, sure. After. This one, subtle, just adding some breath. How many tracks do I have? 193 tracks in this case. So it's cumulative, right? You want to add these elements bit by bit. Just a bit of flavor, nothing insane. Trumpet. I want this Tokyo setting. So before, now, it just pushes the trumpet forward just a little bit. Again, I'm not going crazy. This is orchestral. I don't want to just destroy it. I could destroy it. Limiter going the red. See, when it goes red, it means it's clipping. That's clipping, okay, guys? Just for you at home. A little bit of limiter is kind of cool. Again, the lowest levels of the lowest settings of the limiter have a really slow release. So it's just like a catch-all, just a tap on the bum, just keep you under control. It's only once it starts going higher and higher, the release time shortens and the attack time also lengthens. So it turns into a clipper. And then when you get all the way to the end, the attack time is really slow, the release time is really fast, and it's just flatlining it. I really built this clipper / limiter, which is hard to say, Climiter. I can hear you going there in your mind. It's a Climiter. Climiter. I see you. You can hear the different saturation modes in each one react in different ways. It's kind of cool, actually. That sounds terrible. Okay. Yes, I played all those flutes. I can play the flute. Before... just feels like it comes alive. And again, this is really subtle stuff. Here's a good example. So before, after, huge. Beautiful. But yeah, I think that's enough for today, guys. Glad to see all those early adopters buying my plugin already. And for those who haven't yet tried it, free 14-day trial on the website, tokyospeirs.com. Go check it out. Audioloom, massive thanks to you guys. And again, the song is called Superhero by us, Walk Off the Earth, and it will be out soon. Thank you guys so much for learning more with me. Bye.